So on faith, I decide that I'm going to book my plane ticket. Remember, I still don't have my passport or visa or approval.
My parents applied for me. Later on, they told me to go and get your passport from the government.
That's cute.
Government office. So I went, I got my passport. After that 1 month, they told me like, your flight is...
I didn't know if I was going to get an invitation to apply for permanent residency. Yeah. I thought I'd have to go home. And that to me felt like the end of the world.
So I think like it's better to quit than expect like you will get PR for every day you will live in fear.
Live from the Media Hub.
If you find value after watching this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to this channel.
Hello and welcome to Our Immigration Stories as told by Canadian immigrants. I'm your host, Kristina McPherson, and this show is all about sharing the real, the raw, and the powerful journeys of immigrants who have made Canada their home. We're going to share their journeys, their challenges, their triumphs, and their truth. Today, I'm going to be sharing my immigration story. And I'm also going to be sharing the immigration story of an international student who is in the thick of it. What it took for me to come here as an international student, the things I faced along the way, the challenges, and eventually becoming a Canadian citizen. Now, to kick things off, I'm so excited to start this 6-week journey here at Durham College in the Media Hub. And in the next 6 weeks, we're going to be talking about what's happening in immigration. So many things are changing, and they've been changing since the beginning of 2024. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. Immigration has always been changing. Change is constant in immigration. We're also going to talk about how are these changes affecting international students? How are they affecting colleges? Nobody is unscathed. We're going to talk about the mental health toll of all these changes. Some of these changes come out of nowhere and people are not okay. Some people are not okay. We're going to talk about some dream, struggle, victory stories. We're going to share some stories with you to give you a little bit of hope and even the challenges that we overcame. You're going to hear a lot of challenges in my story. We're also going to talk about the value of networking and how powerful it can be in your journey. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories, your immigration hacks, your networking tips, your why, and your how. If you have a story that you are willing to share with me, please send us an email at astoldbycanadianimmigrants@gmail.com. And that's immigrants with an S. All right. Now, why am I sharing my story? Who am I and why should you listen to me anyway, right? Well, first, I want you to know that you're in good company and that I understand how you feel and I understand how these changes might be affecting you. And with all the changes in immigration, though what's happening right now is rather unprecedented, we've never seen so many changes so quickly, so back to back in a short space of time. So it's quite unprecedented. But a little secret, when I came 11 years ago, there was no express entry, right? So what was my plan? I didn't have to, there's no high points to worry about. There's no draws to worry about. There's like just worry. So what was my plan? And I say that to just help you to understand that immigration has always been changing and it will constantly change. That's the one thing that you can guarantee. If anybody guarantees you anything in immigration, run the other way. But we can guarantee change and change will happen. So brace yourselves. So over the next 6 weeks, we are going to hear from me, other students, faculty members, and a mixture of people involved in all things immigration. So let's dive into my story. So first of all, I am from Jamaica. If my voice or accent didn't give it away, I'm from Jamaica. And I came to Canada 11 years ago in 2013. Now, in 2013, when I applied, I had enough time to get my visa and get school settled in when I applied for my visa. But right out the gate, my very first visa was rejected. It was Wednesday, I believe. I remember the feeling in the pit of my stomach when I got that email, and I was distraught. I was very distraught. But I immediately said, all right, let me contact this immigration consultant who helped me to get into school. He said, okay, pay me and I'll help you. So I went immediately to the bank, paid him, and we were off to the races trying to get my passport back from the consulate and ready to submit a new application. Now, I was now just enough time to get to school. Back in my day, processing time used to be 4 weeks. Now that's not the story, right? So with that 4 weeks, there's Christmas, there's New Year's, there's all of that, and people are on go slow. So I am now waiting, that dreadful waiting for immigration to get back to me. Here's your visa, here's your passport, here's all of these wonderful things. You're off to the races. And I didn't hear back before Christmas or after Christmas, not even after the New Year holiday, right? So now it is January 1st and school is going to start in a week. And I'm realizing that airplane tickets are now being limited because people are booking them up. They're trying to get back to Canada after the long holiday thing, and there are no seats. So on faith, I decide that I'm going to book my plane ticket for a Tuesday. This was a Tuesday after school started. Remember, I still don't have my passport or visa or approval. And I'm going to book my plane ticket and I'm going to go to the visa application center and camp out in their office and kindly and politely demand my passport. And it was a silent protest. It was peaceful. I kind of just went on Monday and said, you know what, school starts today and I have a plane to catch tomorrow. So if you don't mind, I could get my passport, my visa, please. And they said, well, Miss McPherson, we are going to contact the consulate and we'll get back to you. And their method of contacting the consulate isn't, hello consulate, where's Kristina's passport? It's, let's send an email to the consulate to ask them and we'll wait for them to respond. Which, of course, could take all day. They could respond tomorrow for all we know. But I stayed there all day. I took a break for lunch. And when I came back, I camped out in the parking lot instead because then it was getting full in the office. And I was feeling kind of cute at that point. So now it's the end of the day. The office must close. It's 4 p.m. and I leave. Now, bear in mind, my bags are packed to leave to Canada tomorrow. I have a plane ticket. School is starting today. And I'm driving home deflated, not really knowing what to think, how to feel or anything. And I get a call 30 minutes into my drive. And it's the visa application center officer. His name was Howard. And he said, Miss McPherson, we heard from the consulate. You can come to the consulate in the morning at 8 o'clock to collect your passports. Yes. Now, if this was a map of Jamaica, yeah, the passport is down here and the plane is leaving from here. So opposite ends of the island. But thank God my flight was at 8 p.m. So I went to the consulate in the morning. When I went to the consulate, they said, the consulate is not open. You have to come back at 1 o'clock. And I was like, no, somebody told me to be here. So please go and ask whoever is inside that needs to give us permission to enter. So the security went inside, said, okay, come, go through the metal detector, remove all your weapons and all these things. And I was the only person in the consulate. The consulate wasn't even open. And one person came to the window, Kristina McPherson, stamped my visa and the passport. Well, stamped the visa in my passport, gave me my passport back and whatever documents I have to give to the airport. And I was on my way to the airport now at the opposite end of the island. I only had time. I didn't have time to process or say bye-bye to my family or anything. I only had time to pick my suitcase up, say bye-bye to my grandfather, and the rest of my family drove me to the airport. And I was off to Canada. I got there at 3 a.m. and I slept for 3 hours and I was ready to take my 2-hour bus drive to college that morning in the snow, having never been in snow or winter or Canada before. So now I am in Canada as an international student and it is 2014. So I do my international student thing. Now, international student life is kind of a safe space for immigrants. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're hearing me, international students, you're kind of safe. You're in school. You just have to do the school thing. And then you kind of worry about immigration, but it's like an undertone worry. right? So I'm here as an international student in 2014. I do my international student thing and I get to the end of it. And now it is November. Well, it's September, but in September, I apply for my post-graduation work permit and there's no express entry, right? So at this point, I try PNP, which is the Provincial Nominee Program for Ontario, and that didn't go anywhere for me. I tried the labor market impact assessment with my employer, who was very willing to do it. But LMIA is kind of like asking the employer, let's see under your skirts, let's see your panties and all of that under your skirts, which isn't a nice process. So that didn't go anywhere. So now comes 2015. And this glorious thing that nobody really knows everything about, express entry opens up. And we don't know what it is. And in case you think that the scores are high right now, scores for express entry in 2015, the first year it started, was 800. They were in the 800s. So never mind 500 and something, they were in the 800s. So here am I now in 2015 trying to figure out this express entry thing. I do my language test, I do my education credential assessment, I get myself ready. And in about June, I tried to enter the express entry pool and it was ineligible. I said, okay, maybe I didn't put enough money. Maybe I need to put some more money. So I put some more money and again, it was ineligible. So I'm like, all right. Like immigration just likes to reject me, clearly, right? So I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? Let me just wait. I'll just wait until my 1 year anniversary in Canada. And on my 1 year anniversary, which would have been September, when I say anniversary in Canada, 1 year anniversary working in Canada, I enter the pool in September, a glorious September on a glorious Wednesday in September. I jump into the express entry pool, and by Friday, I get an invitation to apply for permanent residency. That is 2 days after I enter the express entry pool. Now, just to preface for some people, my story was that I needed to wait for the 1 year. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's yours. And I find a lot of international students are making that mistake. So don't take my story and say, well, I need to wait 1 year. Even if your profile comes out ineligible, it might be ineligible for another reason. Okay. So just understand that. But this was my story. So I get my invitation to apply. This is September still, and my work permit is going to expire in November. So I need to get my application in and extend it before November. So I get my application together. Thank God I had just visited Jamaica. So I had my police certificate, which can take time to get. So the hint for anybody is out there, like get your things, get your ducks in a row, get your things in place, get your stuff in place in order to be ready for success when it shows up, right? I got a knock on the door and I was ready to answer that door. So all I needed to do was my medical. I did my medical. I submitted my application in like late October. So now I have about 3 weeks before my work permit was going to expire. Now, back in the day, but I think it's also true today, is that you needed to have approval in principle or an acknowledgement of receipt, something of that sort, in order to bridge your open work permit, in order to extend it. Because now that I have a permanent residency application in, I can extend my work permit. But I don't have approval in principle. I just submitted my application like 2 weeks ago. But on faith, I package up a paper application. This is pre-COVID times. So those times you could send in paper applications. I sent in my paper application for my bridge open work permit. And now I'm on implied status. I can't move. Then next year, I get my new work permit. I also get my medical approved for permanent residency. And by June of 2016, I was a permanent resident in Canada. Yeah, the crowd goes wild. I was so excited because it was the end of this treacherous journey that there was this dreadful weight that you can't explain. You just have to feel it. And while you're in it, you can't see the future. I remember my brother called me in March. He called me and said, are you coming to Jamaica for Christmas? I'm like, listen, I have an application in that is a brick wall in front of my face. And I cannot see the future. I cannot tell what is going to happen to me next week I could be sent home. I could be home next week for all I know. They could reject the application and kick me out of Canada. That's how it feels, right? I said, don't ask me about the future. Just ask me about today. Then finally, I do my time and I submit a citizenship application in about 2018. And in 2019, I become a Canadian citizen. And that's 5 years. And if you see this graphic on the screen right now, that's how I went dressed to my citizenship swearing-in ceremony. I was decked out in red and white with a red graduation cap that I bought specifically for that day, because I felt like I was graduating from a master's in Canadian immigration. Every year felt like an exam. Every year felt like I was going to either pass or fail. I was going to, can I go to the next level or can I not? It was horrible. So I celebrated that day in their courtroom. I wore my graduation hat. I took it off when they said no hats and I put it right back on. And so just in case you think you're not in good company, that's my story. I had to jump through so many hurdles and it was an anxiety filled like 4 years, like a good 4 years. And so it was 5 years to my full journey of international student to Canadian citizen. I've also documented my journey in my book, From Foreign Student to Canadian Citizen and Everything in Between, where I kind of laid out not just the story, because there's a story in between, but I said, this is how I did this. This is why I got rejected. I got rejected because on the document checklist, it said a police certificate is optional. And I'm not going to do anything I don't need to do. So I optionally left it out. And so it was rejected for that reason. So I tell you some tips and tricks and things that I learned from throughout my journey that I think can be helpful to other people. This is available on Amazon and on my website. Now, what did I learn from this? What did I learn from all these hurdles that I had to jump through? Now I've been here for 11 years and I don't regret anything. So if I could change anything, I don't know how it would come out. And there's no value in even thinking about that anyway, because you can't change it. But what I wish I knew, like what did I learn and what did I wish I knew? So we're going to just jump into this segment here that we're going to throw questions out to you too and hope that you give us some feedback on what I wish I knew before coming to Canada. Now, I asked my community yesterday and some people answered, so I'm going to share their answers with you. But I also done a video like this in the past and I shared 6 things I wish I knew before coming to Canada. And I'm not going to go into detail in this episode here because the video is already on YouTube. You can watch it later. But I'm going to give you the nuggets, okay? I'll share with you what my community said and the nuggets. And also, soon after this segment here, I'm going to have a guest who is an international student in the thick of things. So he's going to share what he wish he knew too. So before that now, here we are with my list of lessons learned, 6 things I wish I knew before coming to Canada. Number 1. Don't prioritize your immigration goals over your career or your life goals, because after your immigration processes end, the dust settles, you are a citizen or permanent resident. There's life to live after. And you have to learn how to add life and adult and all these things. So don't prioritize one or the other. Figure out how to let them work in sync. Difficult, but possible. Number 2, just changing your environment will not magically change your circumstance. Wherever you go, there you are, okay? And you can't, if you have an issue or something in your country that you're not happy about, or in your family or in your life, and you think you're going to run away from it in Canada, it's going to follow you, I promise you. Number 3, invest in good winter gear, okay? Like a lot of us from the tropics or from countries that don't experience winter are unprepared for the winter, and we cheap out sometimes on cheap shoes or I have 10-year-old winter boots that are still going. For as long as I've been in Canada, I've had the same winter boots because I wear quality boots. Like this year now, I'm thinking that I might need a new one because the inside has ripped a little bit, but they were good shoes. Sorel, I think, is the brand. But invest in good winter gear, okay? It's expensive, but it's worth it. Number 4, making friends and building community requires intentional action and effort on your part. It's not like when we were in school I mean, if you come here and go to school, then it's easier to make friends. But if it's not like when we're in school and we have our best friend that we have for life, once we leave our country, we have to make new friends. We have to learn to do that all over again. And nobody teaches us how to make friends as adults. So that's something you have to be super intentional about. Number 5, live a little. Build some fun into your journey. I did not. I was stressed out the whole time. I saved all my money because if immigration was going to say, Kristina, you need to leave tomorrow, I was leaving with all my money and not leaving not a dollar for the government to have, right? So I was trying to save up and just be conservative. But I think that you can build fun into your journey, even if it's just a little budget for some fun. Have some fun. And number 6, do your research. Do your research, especially now. Now is not the time to just take YouTube advice. Not that it was ever the time for that, but there was a time when things were a little bit more predictable. It's not the same. It's not the same. So do your research, understand the full journey before you leave your country, please. And, you know, a lot of what we do here on this platform, as told by Canadian immigrants, is share experiences to kind of bridge the gap between the black and the white, the gray areas of immigration. Right? So that's me after 10 years in Canada, because that was a year ago when I made that video. But now it's 11 years and it still holds true, right? I still stick to those 6 things. There's more, but I still stick to those 6 things. So now I asked some newer folks and some older folks for their feedback. I asked my audience, what's one thing you wish you knew before coming to Canada as an international student or just coming to Canada? Now, one person said that she wished she knew that the transition from student to PR was so involved and uncertain. Don't I know it? And research could bridge that gap, right? She wished she knew that choosing the right program to study was so important, especially now, right? She also wished she knew that researching and asking questions were important. See, that comes back to my last point about research. Know the full journey before you come here. This book is my full journey. So if you want an example of what a full journey looks like, minus some of my hurdles, right? Because don't try this at home, like booking a plane ticket before you have your visa. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, I did ask an older immigrant, you know, what's one thing that you wish you knew? And he said that because he came from Pakistan, right? Then to the US, then to Canada. But he spent some time in the US. So several years. So after leaving the US, coming to Canada, he was thinking that the US was the same as Canada, or Canada was the same as the US rather. And he was proven wrong, right? It was not the same as Canada. And even the dollar value of things, like things are cheaper in the US. The US dollar goes a lot further than the Canadian dollar. We know this. And so he wished he knew that. He also wished somebody told him that it was so difficult to find a job in Canada. I think that like a lot of people were preaching to the choir. The struggle is real. We know this struggle bus. A lot of people are on the struggle bus right now, especially with so many immigrants in Canada. So what's one thing you wish you knew before coming to Canada? Can you comment in the comment section, leave a chat, leave a message, something, hit me up on Instagram or YouTube at As Told by Canadian Immigrants and tell me one thing you wish you knew before coming to Canada. Now, we're going to take a quick break. And after the break, we are going to hear from a live person, a live subject who is now in the thick of it, in the struggles, in the trenches, going through his international student journey. Right after this break.
They say experience is the best teacher, but you know what's even better? Other people's experience. Some of us have been here for 10 years, 24 years, 2 years, 1 year, and some people just got here. And we lived to tell the tale. By tuning in to our episodes and hearing our stories, we can save you time, stress, and money to learn from the mistakes that we made so you don't make them. And also the things that we were successful at, you can expedite your success by learning from the things that worked for us. Here is what some people have had to say about tuning in to As Told by Canadian Immigrants.
Thank you so much for having me on and creating this wonderful platform where people can get the information and get the honest truth from people who have done it, who are walking the road, who've produced the results, not a shiny brochure with a goose and a Mountie on it, but like, here's really what's going to happen.
Early when you came, I had my paint party.
So Audra came and I had my paint party locally. Was that helpful for you to be a part of that?
I didn't feel like I had a space for me, a community for me. And the day when it came up, I contemplated even 15 minutes before I got into the taxi to come to your paint party whether I should go or not. And I'm very glad I did, because I needed the community. I needed someone who understood what I was going through, who had a listening ear, or just an opportunity to feel a little bit like myself again around someone who wanted me genuinely in their space. It makes a tremendous difference.
Because I was watching your videos back home as well. Throughout my application period, I was watching a couple of your videos, and it really did help me, and it motivated me. Because I applied to come to Canada, I got rejected, right?
Oh, yes, you didn't even tell us about your rejection.
Yes, I got rejected. But then, you know what? The same thing that I just spoke about, you shared your story with me. I use that as motivation to say, well, let me just reapply again. Why not? And I tried my best. I did what I needed to do.
Good.
And now I'm here.
When you start making your posts, that's when I start watching your videos and stuff and doing my research. And
thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely.
I think your show is essential for telling this immigrant journey. I love what you're doing. Keep on doing it.
Thank you so much.
And we're back. And we are back with a live subject. I don't mean to call you a live subject or anything, but you are now an international student at Durham College, and you are living my journey in real time now. So we're going back in time. Now, before I hear from Nabin, and introducing you, he's an international student from Nepal, and he's in the broadcasting program here at Durham College. And he's a few months away from completion.
Like
so that's
1 month.
1 month, not even a few months, 1 month, okay? From completion, stepping into the real world, time to adult, right? And now he's going to be a work permit holder, and he's at the chapter 2 stage of the journey. So now, for anybody who doesn't know, Nepal is a country that is just north of India. So if this is India, Nepal is a smaller country just north of India, sandwiched between India and mainland China. Fun fact, Mount Everest is in Nepal. Everybody knows Mount Everest. Mount Everest is in Nepal. So that's where Nepal is. So, so Nabin from Nepal. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. So now, Nabin, I'm about to call you like Nepal.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Nabin, you came from Nepal rather, to Canada a few years ago to start this program and this journey. What was your why? What was the big dream? What was the goal? Why did you move to Canada?
So I moved to Canada because of my parents' dream to send me abroad for the better future and career. So because the education quality is really high in Canada in regards of Nepal, so I had to.
You had to.
Yeah.
So your mom and dad sent you.
Yeah.
They said go.
Yeah.
All right. So then, what was the process like in terms of applying, getting through all of that stuff? What was it like for you to do all of that stuff?
So I did my IELTS, and after completing my IELTS, after 1 year, my parents applied for me.
Your parents?
Yeah. I didn't know that they applied for me in Canada, and later on they told me to go and get your passport from the government.
That's cute.
Government office. So I went, I got my passport. After that 1 month, they told me like your flight is after 1 week straight away. So I didn't know anything, so I didn't research, I didn't know what to do and when to do. So that was my process.
That's fun. I wish do I wish that? I don't know. I don't know. But like you're very fortunate to begin with. Of course it would have been surprised you're going to the other side of the world right now, but I guess it's that's your parents' dream.
Yeah.
And so when they said, well, this is what's happening, you're going to go study this program, you're going to Canada, were you excited? Were you concerned?
I was concerned because my dream was to like open my own studio in Nepal.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the truth. My parents sent me to the abroad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, which is fine, which is, you'll thank them later. Don't worry. I'm sending my daughter to French school right now, and she's not very happy about that, but she's going to thank me one day. So now you're here anyway, right? And is the dream to stay?
I don't think I'll stay.
Okay. And see, he has a very different perspective or story from international students today, especially me, right? I came here for a passport. I don't know about you. But so you have a very different perspective, but somewhere along the journey you considered it. You were like, you know what, let me just get this permanent residency thing out of the way. Even if you go back home, just get it out of the way. But now you've had a shift in perspective, right? Tell me about that shift.
So at first when I landed to Canada, I heard from my friends like it's really easy to get PR right now, but after 2 years the rule is changing every day. So right now it's like really difficult for students, international students, to get PR. So that is why my perspective changed.
So you change your mind, right? So, and then, at the beginning of the episode, I spoke about like, how are these changes affecting people? And here's a real live culture, right? Where he's like, you know what, I thought about getting PR and probably building a life here in Canada, even if I come and go, which is fine. But now with all the changes, I changed my mind, Canada. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that people can definitely learn from your story, because when I was going through my thing, right? So in the September when I didn't know if I was going to get an invitation to apply for permanent residency. I thought I'd have to go home. And that to me felt like the end of the world. But it's not, guys. It actually isn't, especially if you're from a war-stricken country or going home is not safe, then that's different. But if home is safe, is it the end of the world? Is it so bad to go home, right? And does going home mean you can't come back? No, it doesn't.
So I think like it's better to quit than expect like you will get PR for like every day you will live in fear like for 2-3 months, like you will get PR or you will not get PR. So it's better to quit upfront.
Some people beg to differ,
but I don't.
Your motivations for coming were very different. So it's everybody's story is going to be different. And it depends on what they gave up to come here and different things. You kind of got you were just put on a plane. You're like, here, go. Okay, and come back if you feel like. So that's good. So now, when you came to Canada, was there any kind of cultural difference or environment? I mean, obviously it's different culturally, because I think I asked you, is Nepal a culture like India? Because a lot of people think it's just India, but it's not.
It's like diverse country.
Diverse. Canada's diverse.
Yeah, with many cultural aspects. Like it's like there are like 365 castes in our country. Like
365 what?
Caste. It's like different religion.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And like in a year there are like 280 festivals.
Okay.
Yeah, in a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
so very
every day is festival in our country.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I think I like that. Is it a holiday too?
It's not a holiday, but like
Okay. So, and then how did that differ now when you came to Canada culturally? What were the differences or the major things that you had to adjust or adapt to?
So as I told, I didn't research anything about Canada, so I didn't know. So I just packed my luggage and just went to the airport to take a flight. So after coming to Canada, I didn't know where to go, where to stay. So I called my friend. I didn't know.
So they put you on a plane and they never tell you where you're going to live?
Yeah.
Lord of mercy.
There was no room, nothing. So I called my friend and he was in work. Like he told me like, where are you right now? I told him I was at the airport in Canada, and then he booked me over. I didn't know like anything. So he did book me over. I went to his home. After 2 days, I just went to get my study permit and everything. Yeah.
But you know what? You're going to thank your parents. You know why? Because then you have to grow up quick. You have to figure life out quick, right? They're like, here you go. They kick you off into the deep end, figure it out, which is good. You'll thank them. So you said, okay, so you didn't research, you didn't do anything, you came here, and now you're in school. You're like, you know what? Let me just do this PR thing. So right now, what's your biggest concern with immigration?
So right now, biggest concern is like after completing the course. So what am I gonna do? Like I might get like 3 years work permit, but in that 3 years, in which field should I go? Because like the government has like specified various fields
Yeah.
for like PR.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm figuring out right now. So what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now, like I think I said this earlier too, that this is not the time to necessarily have to figure things out on your own.
Yeah.
And I think you should get some advice.
Yeah.
And just a quick disclaimer here that nothing I say here is immigration advice or anything like that. I'm not an immigration consultant. And it's just information based, but we know generally that express entry does have different categories.
Yeah.
But there is also the Canadian Experience class, which is general. And there's also French. You can go learn some French, you know,
Yeah.
right? So there are more than just occupation specific options that may be applicable to you.
Yeah.
But I do recommend getting advice because maybe you should just get it, you know, just maybe. And I mean, you did say that, so you do plan on working here after
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll get your work permit. So there's still a chance.
Yeah.
And things could change. Like we know that there's an election coming up, right, at the end of April. So we don't know how things are gonna go, but there's still a chance. Now, you are, I think, unique probably amongst your friend circle of people who are probably trying to stay here.
Yeah.
So with everything that you know from maybe your friends or even how you've experienced it, do you think that there's enough support for information and just support for immigration?
So in the past, like I used to listen my friends, like I did not research anything, so I used to listen my friends and I used to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I think I have like enough resources and enough information, like I can visit internet and I can look up anything in the websites.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I have enough information, but in previous I didn't have any information. Yeah,
But not because it wasn't there.
Yeah.
You just weren't looking for
Yeah.
it. Right.
because of friend circles.
Yeah. All right. So right now you're 1 month away
Yeah.
from school completing. And I think there's this big, right now I just actually participated in a project that is talking about bridging the gap or the employability gap between international students and the work world.
Yeah.
Because some Canadian domestic students get a higher percentage of the jobs. I mean, it is Canada. They are Canadian.
Yeah.
But they were just studying, like, how can we bridge this gap so that there's equal opportunity? And I think there's a big thing that is lacking in being able to get opportunities. Like, Canadians grew up here. So they know people, their parents know people, all these things. Yeah. But we don't have a network.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, have you done anything outside of going home and coming to college?
So I did work few part-times here.
Okay.
So, but after working for 2 or 3 months, like they got call from their relatives. So after that, I been kicked out from the work without any reasons.
What? That's illegal.
Yeah, because that's like they have networking, like they know their people. So
so in a
they want
network.
to,
You see that?
they want to
Okay.
give their people chances. So I was kicked out.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm still looking for like job right now.
So you're looking for a job
Yeah.
right now. And are you looking in broadcasting and media? You're trying to stay in this world? Yes.
Right now, I think I am not looking in broadcasting field because I think I have not enough knowledge about this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because
But that's how you learn. You
Yeah.
learn from experience. You
Yeah.
need experience to get a job. You need a job to get experience.
Yeah, because I'm still learning about broadcasting, everything like editing to broadcasting. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah.
Next time I want you to answer the question saying, you know what, I do want a job and
Yeah.
I want to learn and do that. You have to sell yourself,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you have to sell yourself
Yeah.
and you have to be confident. You're good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Nabin is one of my placement students, right?
Yeah.
And so I've worked with you for the last, has it been 2 weeks? 1 week.
Yeah.
1 week and a few days, right? And I like your style. I like your style.
Yes, thank you.
Right? Be be confident. Okay, believe in yourself. But also, you need to get out of your room and get out of college and go and shake some hands and kiss some babies.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, community.
Yeah.
How was that? You said that you called your friend.
Yeah.
You're talking about this friend all this whole time. So this friend is somebody that you knew before you came.
Yeah, he was my childhood friend.
Oh, cute.
So he is the only friend I have in Canada.
Oh.
Yeah. So
At
I
least
didn't-
that's
yeah.
good though.
Yeah, and he told me everything like this is the like this is how you live daily in here. So he told me like if you want to travel outside you need to open map and you need to like buy Presto card, everything he told me. And like he told me like I think in your college they have like student group, and because of him I met some friend in this college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had like a group of students that were from your country.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, and so you found community. So you have more than one friend now in Canada. Okay, good. Now, I did ask this question to you. You can answer the question.
Okay.
Do you find that the changes are fair, and do they make it accessible for international students to thrive here?
I think for immigration, like every people have their different opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for like.
Don't we know?
Yeah, for me, like it's fair right now, but in future I don't know if it will be fair or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the situation is dependent in like is it fair or not. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that in the context of everything that's happening, though the changes are hitting some people hard, it's kind of like if you have cancer, they're going to do chemotherapy, and chemotherapy is going to let your hair drop off. You know, like other things get affected, but it gets rid of the cancer, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? So there's going to be, you know, some side effects to, you know, positive change. And that's what we're seeing right now. As harsh as it may feel or seem, I think that it's necessary. And it's probably going to be trending in the right direction. So now I shared one thing that, you know, people wish they knew before coming to Canada. And you said that you never do no research. So you probably have a list of things, right? But tell me 3 instead of 1, okay? Tell me 3 things you wish you knew before coming to Canada.
So the 3 things that I wish I knew was weather is no joke in here.
Say what?
Weather is no joke.
The weather is no joke.
And the second is like cost of living.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the third would be like education system.
Okay, what about the education system?
Because in our country, like we don't use computer and laptops, like we have everything written, but after coming to here, like it's like everything like digital.
Oh, you mean back home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used to operate computer and laptops in Nepal, but I would not use frequently like here. So if I need to do anything, I need to use laptop here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So it's more techie here.
Yeah.
Funny. Okay. Now you are a dancer of the sorts, right? Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel. You can talk about your YouTube channel a little bit. KK Production House. Yeah. And your love for dance.
Yeah. Basically, it's not my channel, but my father's channel.
Oops.
Yeah. So my journey started since I was in class 6. Yeah. I did practice for like 1 year. After then I just went into the field. Yeah, so basically I'm like quiet person, like I don't talk too much. Yeah, but while dancing, like I can express myself by dancing. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. And so follow him, his dad. But he's there too.
My video is there.
Here's YouTube. Yours video is there too, and dad's there. KK Production House on YouTube. That's awesome. Is there any word of advice that you want to leave with people right now? People who are in the trenches, like you're so comfortable with going home, and I think that's a good quality to have. So we're not, the advice is not going to be quit. We're not telling people to quit. Just quit. No. So any advice except for that. But any words of advice or encouragement?
My advice is like follow your heart. So where do you want to try, where do you want to go there.
Amen.
That's it.
Amen.
Never give up.
Never give up. See, it's not about quitting. Never give up. He's not quitting. He's just not giving up on his dream, which is to open a studio, a dance studio somewhere. That's amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you for taking the time out to share your story. And I mean, you're going to see more of these stories. Nabin is just one of the many international students who have interesting stories to share, and we would love to hear them. So again, if you are open to sharing your story, you're here on campus, send me an email at astoldbycanadianimmigrants@gmail.com. So now you know my journey, you know his journey, and you know who we are as a community and how this platform is born out of experiences. And next week, we're going to dive into more stories. We're going to share more experiences. And in an upcoming episode, right, we're going to talk about networking a little bit, right? And that'll probably help you with the whole job search thing, right? We're going to talk about a term that I coined called post-immigration stress disorder, which I believe that I experienced from the very first rejected visa. Because if I think about it too hard, I can feel it in the pit of my stomach still. right? So we're going to talk about those mental health impact of immigration, especially right now with all these changes. So I believe we are at the end of our episode, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Now, don't forget, you can follow the Media Hub on social media at DCSA Media Hub. You can also follow us at As Told by Canadian Immigrants on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, all of them, the works, As Told by Canadian Immigrants. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was our immigration stories as told by Canadian immigrants.